John, as a scientist, might I take the liberty here to ask you, do you really honestly believe that you have been on the remains of Noah's Ark?
I have no doubt in my mind. This has to be a man-made structure. It's full of metal. The metal has a regular pattern to it.
This data does not represent natural geology. It's a man-made structure. These reflections are occurring very periodic, too periodic to be random natural type interference.
The size of the thing and the shape of the thing is such that it's almost certainly a large boat.
Okay, here we are at the place that some believe is one of the biblical cities, Sodom or Gomorrah. They think it's actually Gomorrah, one of the cities that was destroyed by fire and brimstone out of heaven as a result of God's judgment. I came to this area, which to me really looks like city walls. There's several here that have more or less 90-degree corners, which seems rather interesting.
That is not a normal shape. That doesn't look natural at all. That is definitely seems to be a man-made shape. And is this not enough evidence for people to find all of these man-made looking structures, ashen remains, crumble in your hands, in the location where we're told in the Bible as evidence of God's judgment, as described by Josephus, historian, but then also finding circular, almost pure sulfur balls in the middle of the ash, in the middle of the walls and the shapes of the buildings. Is this not enough evidence for us to see that A, the Bible is true, and B, God is a just God and we need a saviour? Because sin requires punishment. Sin brings on the wrath of God, and this place is the evidence of the wrath of God, a holy God.
The purplish flame is indicative of the intense heat which prohibited our holding the spoon as it burned. Ryan took several of the samples to Galbraith Labs near Knoxville, Tennessee. The yellow balls in the center of the reddish rings proved to be 95.72% sulfur, with traces of several other elements, all of which he was told would contribute to an extremely high temperature fire. When Ryan asked them if they could perform a BTU test to determine the degree of heat this would give off, he was told that they couldn't because it would damage their stainless steel testing chamber.
This brimstone is made of monoclinic, white sulfur that has been burned or cooked at a high temperature. It is quite different from natural sulfur that is formed in geothermal areas.
Calcium sulfate is created when heat goes over 250 degrees Celsius.
It's what we call thermal ionization, when atoms attract and repel, forming this unusual swirly design.